Hello, my name is Daniel Cash and I am the editor on the chase scene you've probably just seen. If you haven't already seen it, I will include a link for you in the description and I'll add an annotation onto the video for you to click. So in this video I'm going to be reviewing and evaluating my chase scene, so let's just open that up. Just gotta find it. Yep, just wait for this Premiere file to open. Hopefully it'll open soon. Oh, and it's already open. Oops. Okay, so this is the start of my chase scene. So I'll just go through the first clip here. See, I really like that because it shows anger on Cameron's face here, and I also like this clip because I added the credits here. Oh, credits, more like a title. I did this to make it look more realistic, more like a real film, sort of, because obviously in film trailers and films, as the actors first appear on screen, they normally have their name appear for a few seconds. As you can see, that's what I've done there and there. So if I'm going to carry on with this clip, and I'm going to point out a few areas of where I've done some editing. One of the things I did in this part of the clip was I added a warp stabilizer to give it a bit of stabilization. That window there that you can see, originally there was a reflection, which you can see right here. There was a massive reflection of me there, which was a mistake I've done in the filming of the footage. So in future, I'll be covering up all possible reflections, like windows and stuff, and making sure that whilst I'm shooting, there isn't a reflection. In order to get rid of that reflection, what I did was I added a few keyframes. So I went to Effects, Effect Controls, and as you can see here, I've added some keyframes and scaled and positioned the actual footage around so you can't see through that window there, therefore not displaying my reflection. The only flaw with this is obviously it then zooms into the shot, so I think the shot is a little bit too zoomed in. So as I said, in future, to fix that, I will be making sure that there is no reflection in the shots. Let's carry on. Play through this scene. Just turn the volume down a little bit. There we go. See, here Cameron was actually speaking, but I decided that it would be more effective if we cut the audio out. So what I did was I unlinked the video footage and audio and then removed the audio. Due to the rest of the video being silent, I thought it would be better that this clip was silenced as well. So that's why there's no sound. Obviously, this bit is where Corey first appears. At first, he was looking at the camera, so what I did was with the razor tool, I cropped it. So I just got this tool here and selected the first little bit where he was looking at the camera, and I cropped it out using this razor tool here. Going back to this scene is actually one I really like, because Cameron is desperately trying to get the door open by pulling on it, but it won't open, giving the idea that he's in a prison cell, so to speak. He's trapped. This room was actually a recording studio. We moved out the Mac and all other electrical equipment so that when the camera goes around the room, you can't see any of it. So that's something we did quite well. There were also signs on the door saying like Stanmore College Media Department and Recording Studio. We removed that as well. We removed the signs before we started filming, so that's something we did well. See here, after like a second of Corey being introduced, you get his name come up on screen. As I said, I did this for the same reasons as I did with Cameron's name, to make it more realistic. Corey's face turns here, which is another shot I really like, because it shows that he can hear something. I don't know if this was entirely obvious, but this is why Corey's face turns, and his facial expression is sort of saying that he can hear something. So I don't know if everyone got that, but that was the idea behind that shot. So let's just carry on. Obviously, we did actually cut to a different corridor. Cameron is in the room where Corey is heading, but we filmed it from the side so that you couldn't actually see the door. Therefore, you're unable to tell whether it is a different room or not. So I'll just play. As you can see here, Cameron pushes Corey out the way. I think doing this again, I would like to redo this shot as well. I think there could have been a better camera shot. Maybe do it from the other side and an over the shoulder or a point of view shot for this shot. I think it's just too plain, but I do like the idea of the push. And then Cameron begins running. This is really where our chase begins. Originally, we would have liked him to go out that door you see at the far end, but due to it being a fire door, this was not possible. So as you'll see in the next clip, we cut to a different area outside. We cut to the outside building of Larch, just outside Larch, as you can see. The outside of Larch will be in the next clip. This was actually a really good shot because I got another shot of them running past the camera, so it shows that they're both running. So I like this shot. This is the shot I was talking about outside Larch, where Cameron basically runs out this door, as you can see, going through it frame by frame. And then Corey follows shortly after, rushing through, so it looks like they haven't stopped running, when in actual fact it was a completely different shot. And this one as well is a different shot, where the camera cut and we then ran around. The camera then ran around after them for a little bit. This shot as well, it's a feet shot showing their feet whilst they run. I think this was a brilliant idea, and I absolutely love this shot, as I just think it's one of the great variety and shot types we have. So yeah. So it carries on with the feet shot for a little bit and then goes straight to them jumping over the bench. Now this shot again I really like, because instead of just standing at the back or in front of the bench, I've actually bent down, kneeled down, and angled the camera upwards, so it looks like they're jumping higher, really. I mean, I guess they are jumping over the bench, but like I feel the shot is much better looking up at them. So if I just play this frame by frame, you'll first see Cameron jumping over. So if I go back a little bit, that's Cameron jumping over. So I feel it works really well with this shot. I feel that is one of our best shots in the actual chase. And then we go to Corey jumping over the bench, like that. Going through it frame by frame. And then it then cuts to this shot where I was standing at a sort of angle and they will run past here. and I'm sort of following. This is one of the shots where we wanted a shaky effect, but we didn't really want it that shaky. It's a bit more shaky than we would have liked, but it was one of the problems we had because we didn't use a tripod, as we had too many different types of shots to use a tripod. It wouldn't have been possible using a tripod, so we used a cam steady wheel. So the camera was basically on a sort of steering wheel, and I held the steering wheel out in front of me and ran sideways, so obviously my hands did shake a bit whilst running. So I think going back and doing it again, I would definitely focus on redoing this shot and look up and ask people how to make this shot better and how to make the shot less shaky. We did try adding a stabilizer, but because the footage isn't that clear to begin with because of the running, the stabilization just made it worse and too cropped, so we had to take out the stabilizer for this shot. As you can see, it's a bit dark, which were one of the problems we faced because it took us quite a while to film. We faced the problem of loss of light. We did try and fit this into the theme, which relates to the music. Bit scary, freaky, a little bit, as well as intense, I guess. I guess it's really intense and just exciting, and you wonder what's going to happen next. Well, at least that's how I feel. I don't know about you guys. But yeah, so I really like the music choice. Playing it back frame by frame, so the transition between these two shots I really like, because as you can see here, it cuts to Cameron just nearly running through the door, and then obviously the door is just a little further on in front of Cameron. Then we stopped and I went inside, and obviously due to the automatic doors, we pressed them before we started filming, obviously, so that when they ran, they didn't really have to stop and open the doors, because it would have ruined the idea of the chase. I quite like the idea of the doors opening a little bit in the chase, but I'm not too sure. So I think if I was to do it again, I would shoot one with the doors fully open and then keep this shot as well and see which one I like better, because I'm not sure if I like the effect of the doors opening a little bit whilst they're running. So let's just play it on. Also, Cameron's facial expressions, I don't think that they're good enough, really. I think he could have put more effort into his facial expressions and acting his part. He was meant to be angry and smug, really, because he was running away, and I feel he was just too happy throughout this. So going back and doing it again, I'd definitely concentrate on the acting as well. So again, this is another shot where I stood a little bit to the side at an angle and watched them run past. See, with this shot, I'm not sure if I like the delay in the running between Cameron and Corey. Corey's a lot behind Cameron. I'm not sure if I like that. So going back and do it again, I would probably have Corey run there quicker. So if you look, playing it back, sorry for the really disturbing noise, obviously it's the rewinding of the music. So here, going from here, playing it frame by frame, as you can see, Cameron's already all the way into that part of the shot, and Corey's not even in shot yet. So I think I'd at least have Corey in the shot by the time Cameron reached that point, because he doesn't get in the shot till about now. There. So he first gets in shot about here, and Cameron's already way inside that corridor, so I think that shot could use redoing. If I had the chance to do it again, I would definitely do that shot again to make Corey faster, so there's not that much gap between Cameron and Corey. What you just heard there with the audio, I cut it. I cut the audio to remove the quiet parts, and unfortunately I didn't cut the audio very well, so there's a little sort of gap, I guess you could call it, or pause. I don't really know what you could call it, but the music doesn't sound that great right here. As you can see, it's like a jump, so to speak, in the music. So I think going back, I definitely look at that audio again and see how I could edit and cut that better. I did cut the audio using Adobe Audition. So, anyway. This shot, though, I think it could use being a little bit more wider, if you get what I mean. I think I should have been further back, because the main focus of this shot is the pillar, and I think that just ruins the shot, to be honest. I don't think the main focus of the shot should have been the pillar. Just playing on. Cameron was meant to be out of breath, acting like he was out of breath for this shot, but we forgot to do that in the take. We forgot about it, so going back, I definitely make sure we did that, because it was a big part. Cameron stopping, the whole point of him stopping was because of him being out of breath, so I think it kind of ruins it, really, of him stopping. Corey will then catch up to him here. It then pans round and you can see Corey. This shot here, I think it's not real enough. I think you can tell it's too rehearsed, if you get what I mean. Like, because Corey kind of pauses for a second and then reaches for Cameron, whereas I think he should have maybe jumped instead of just walking there. So I'll play that clip around from here. So let's just go back. So yeah. Also, to do with this clip, I had to use the eraser tool to crop, as the shot showed Corey kind of stopping at that last point, and obviously for the next shot it needed to show him still running, so I used the razor tool to cut the bit where he stops, and then we move on to the next shot against the glass. This is one of my favourite shots because of Corey's facial expression, and it really looks like Corey is just whacking Cameron's face against the glass. And that was done cropping bits of the footage using the razor tool, as Cameron actually put the face up against the wall before Corey smashed it against the wall. So we cut bits of the footage using the razor tool. However, doing this again, I think we should redo that last shot, and instead of having Corey push Cameron against the glass, I think Corey should maybe put his hand around Cameron's neck and drag him away with a sort of fade, music fading and the audio fading at the same time, and maybe have a silent scream where Cameron will open his mouth to scream but no sound will come out until after the footage goes blank, so to speak. Then we'd have a voiceover of a scream and then the credits would come on. So doing it again, I would definitely redo this shot here. What I did with the credits, because instead of having them just stay there like a default still. I have them rolling from the bottom to the top of the screen. I'll just show you that now. Oh, there you go. So as you can see, they start off screen and roll to the top of the screen and then go off screen. I really like this because it's more realistic instead of a default still, whereas it would just literally stay there. Also, as I said, it's more realistic, like a real film would have. Any real film or episode of a series or anything like that, their credits will roll from the bottom to the top. So I really like that effect of what I did, really. It's not really an effect, but yeah. So I went to new title and then clicked default roll, and then you just name your title whatever you want. So I can name it that, and obviously you get this, and you make sure you're on the type tool, which I am. So now just click and type whatever you want. So that can be my credits. Create another line, another line. There we go. Those are my credits. So now I just select the move tool, and I can also center it by clicking that. That's centered. Now you can add this to your timeline by literally just going to your bin, and it will be right there, title 7. I can just drag it on there, and there you'll see it. However, it won't roll. As you can see, it's not rolling yet. That's because in order to get it to roll, you have to click here, which is roll/crawl options. Click on it, and then title type, you want it to roll. You want it to start off screen, and you want it to end off screen. So you press OK, and then go back to it. So here, as you can see, it's now rolling from the top to the bottom. So that is how you do a default roll title. Very easy and very simple. So I hope you know how to do a default roll title. So that's basically what I did for a default roll. For a default still, you would just go to title, new title, default still, then type what you want there for your title name, and then just repeat the same steps as I did before, but you wouldn't click roll/crawl options. You just leave it as it was, and then it would be a default still title, which I have actually used for the name here. As you can see, there we go. That's a default still title because obviously it's just the actor's name quickly whilst they're in shot, so you wouldn't really want that to move because it would just look messed up, so to speak. So that's why I used the default still there. Going back to the end, I'm just going to talk about the audio ending here, but first we're just going to delete that title there. So the audio ending here I really like. I've added a constant gain to it, which is basically a fade of the audio, and it fades just before the tension gets to its absolute height. You can hear the tension rising in the titles here. So if I play from here, play from there. So it's just like before it gets to its absolute height of tension, it fades out, which I think works really nicely for the credits. In order to do that, it's really simple. Literally just go to effects, which are here, audio transitions. So you click that there, crossfade, open it, and then you can use either one of these. I used a constant gain, and what you would do is literally just drag it onto the end there and click, which I'm not going to do because I've already got one on there. So yeah, but that's what you would do, and then it would just appear there right at the end, and you'd have your fade. So it's really simple, and I think it's a great effect on the audio. So yeah, overall I'm really happy with my chase scene. However, if I was redoing it, I think I would focus more around doing VFX and After Effects. I'd shoot my video based around doing those effects. I would have liked to do it in this video, however, because I didn't base my shooting around the effects, it would be unsuitable to put effects in, as it would just look really messed up and it would just ruin the entire video, because, as I said, it's not been based around putting effects in it. So yeah, redoing it, I'd definitely go down the special effects and After Effects route. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. I think it's a good project.